hot topic issue today. This is my vlog that I'm going to do, and I want to talk a little bit about age gap couples. So I'm going to talk to you, this is a vlog, it's totally unscripted, it's completely just random thoughts coming out of my brain, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my experience with my husband, who is 11 years older than I am. Some of the positives and some of the negatives, and my thoughts on age gap couples. So this has been on my mind a long time to hop on YouTube and talk about. And so I'm just gonna, and like I said, this is totally unscripted. I'm not gonna edit anything out. If you've watched my other videos, you know I absolutely hate editing. I'm too frugal to have someone edit for me. Once in a while I'll edit out like a bleep if I accidentally swear, which I hardly ever swear, so that probably isn't gonna happen. Or if, I guess I probably will never edit it anyway. But anyway, so going back, I met my husband when I was 24 and he was 35. And at that point, when we first met, age really didn't seem to be an issue. He had one child from a previous marriage, had been divorced, and he had his daughter every other weekend and partially sometimes through the summer. And I didn't really completely think that through. One of the things I really wanted is I wanted to have my own children, so I knew I wanted to have two or three children as we were kind of going through, which put him at a disadvantage because he was already 35 and I was 24 when we met. So when I was 26, we got married. So he was 37 when we got married. So like I said, when we were younger, there just really wasn't that much of a difference with our ages. My husband looks relatively young. He works a outdoor job that keeps him in shape, and he didn't really show the signs of aging. So when I kind of look back and think about all of the things that I should have thought about, I probably didn't think about any of them, to be honest with you, because he just didn't really seem like he was that much older than I was. And I have kind of an old soul. I was probably more mature than most at age 26. And so anyway, so as we were progressing, everything was fine. We got through having kids through teenage years. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So now my husband I'm 46, he's 57. He'll be 58 this year, and starting to think about retirement. Well, this is where it really gets interesting, because at 46, I am not ready to retire, to think about retirement. I am not in that frame of mindset thinking that, oh my God, what am I gonna do all day long? I'm not gonna sit and watch Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right, Jeopardy, whatever people watch, and I'm just really not ready for that. So every time he started bringing up, like, we need to kind of think about if I'm gonna be able to retire at 60, 62, and every time he thought about that, my brain would just shut off. My brain would not process that we were even to this point where he was actually thinking about retiring. I just think at 46, I've always been very entrepreneurial and very go get them, rah leadership type positions. And I just could not wrap my mind around that. He is getting to the point where he's starting to think about retirement. And I was like, God, you're old, and I'm not feeling that old yet. So that's one of the issues with the age gap, that you'll kind of get to the point where wow, we're just in different mindsets at the moment. And so we've been trying to work through that just a little bit. Now, granted, he's still 2 to 4 years from making some of those decisions, and we've got a lot of things to work through. We've got to set up all of the assets accounts and do stuff for our kids in case something happens, and long-term care and all of that stuff that can happen. But it's just interesting to think like all of a sudden, like we're here and I am really not ready to retire. But there are, so that's a negative, a definite negative. But there are some positives to having an age gap couple. So the one thing is that I still work full time on top of having my creator business, and I can carry the benefits from age 62 to 65 for him, which ends up saving, you know, that $2,000 a month for insurance, dental insurance, all of those things if I was to continue to work when he's between 62 and 65. The other thing on top of that is we have 2 kids that are not 26 yet, and the law is that they can stay on our insurance until they are 26. So technically, I probably will need to stay employed unless my content creation business blows up or my other idea that I'm thinking about doing blows up, because I'm very entrepreneurial, so I might come up with something. So I have that opportunity that I can hold the benefits for him, and he could potentially retire a little bit early or stay till 62 and not have that big expense between 62 and 65 before he were to go on Medicare. So that is one really big advantage. The second advantage that works in my favor is I could potentially retire before 62 from a full-time, you know, office gig job that I have right now, which is very possible. So because he at 62 will probably pull Social Security and be able to start pulling on some of his 401k accounts, depending on, you know, what our tax bracket situation looks like. And in Minnesota, they tax Social Security, which is the dumbest thing ever. But a lot of people that live in Minnesota move to Florida or Arizona, other southern states, to avoid income tax, but you actually have to live there for 6 months, and I have no interest in living in Florida for 6 months. We live in northern Minnesota, where I just like the outdoors, and I just don't see that even happening at all. So, but some people do it. So that is another positive for me. It's a positive for him to have a younger wife. It's a positive for me too, that if I did continue to go to work, he should be doing all of the housework, right? Taking care of the dogs, taking care of grandkids, that when our daughters need help, doing the dishes, maybe cleaning the bathrooms. I don't know. He should clean the bathrooms because I've done it for so many years. So that's kind of one of the differences of the age gap couple. I would say that our age gap is very unusual. I don't feel like a lot of people have that much of an age gap, especially because like a lot of people end up meeting their spouse in college, high school, in their early 20s, and they're usually about the same age. So I feel like I'm in a very unique situation with an age gap, unless you're a celebrity. And some of those celebrities have 20 and 30 year age gaps. Look at that Biden guy. He's got a wife that's 20 years younger than him. Hugh Hefner, he married those Playboy models, and they were like 30 to 40 years different. And I guess if you're really famous, maybe you do want a younger wife, or what do they call it, a silver fox? No, that's the other way, to go older is the silver fox. So yeah, so that is some of the positives and negatives that we're trying to work through with our age gap. So because of that, and because I'm very entrepreneurial, in the next 2 to 3 years, I'll be working on some other ideas that I have. So that I could potentially not work in an office environment, because I think one of the negatives also that we're going to have is when my husband is retired, he's going to be spending a lot of time either traveling or doing fun things that I wish that I could be with. And I think it's going to be very hard when I only have so much vacation to work with. And I really feel like that's gonna probably be a problem unless I can go down in hours and still maintain full-time benefits. So we're gonna have some to be determined what that's gonna look like. And if I have this YouTube channel long enough, I'll report back on how that works in 3 to 4 years. So I'm working on a few entrepreneurial ventures that I'm kind of looking at, thinking that if I could maintain the same kind of income that I have now and work on I love my content creation business. I have a community of people that are similar to me that are in a midlife transition and looking to enjoy and reinvent at the second half of their life. That's where I'm at. I have children that are just leaving for college, an older husband, and I am looking for fun and fulfillment and trying to reinvent my life. So in reinvention, that means you have to look for change and look where you will be comfortable. And I have a couple of really good ideas to be determined. I'll do some videos on those and see what you guys think. Like I said, these are all ideas. We'll have to see. A week ago, I thought I wanted to be a dog breeder until I had to take care of my neighbor's hobby farm for a week. And I realized that I don't like chickens. I just really don't like chickens. They're supposed to go back into their house at night, and the chickens do not go back into their house at night like the neighbor said they do. So we're chasing, my daughter and I, who's 18, are chasing chickens all over the entire yard to get them back in their hut. And we couldn't leave them out because we live in Coyoteville, and those chickens would have all been dead by the next morning. So I just really do not care for chickens. So I'm kind of thinking that the hobby farm and the farmer idea is really not for me. But anyway, this is a new style of vlogging for me. I don't edit. I don't cut stuff out. I don't script anything. This is from my heart. Talking to you like you're a friend of mine. Hope you like my videos, and if you have any suggestions or want to chat any more about age gap couples, give me a shout out, comment, and subscribe if you like my channel and enjoy these videos.